Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. There's another short little clip here, or teaser. Hopefully they're useful. I'll keep coming at you with them because I've had, as I've said in other videos, quite a diverse career, and I'd never be arrogant enough to say super successful. There's things I've learnt along the way. There's been real positives. There's also been mistakes that have been made, and you learn from those as much as you do the successes, maybe even more, because when you've made a mistake, and certainly when you make a mistake with your own money, it's not a mistake you're quick to repeat. And when I say no cost is too trivial, what that actually means is profit and margin can be derived in many different ways, and cost saving isn't something you just do in times of crisis, and so many businesses fall into that trap. When you're looking for additional margin, trivial cost savings are where margin's found, and that's not redundancies, that's not the scary stuff, the killing people's bonuses, removing overtime, those big decisions that everyone assumes is what cost saving means. You could add 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5% in very lax businesses to your bottom line if you look at the trivial cost base. I keep saying it, margin can be derived from much more than charging a customer more, or adding a couple of percentage points on here, or nickel and diming certain decisions. If you take basic functionality, which I'll go on to give you examples of, in your business, and you can find cost savings and cost efficiencies, that pays for later investment, or that goes to your bottom line. So I'll keep saying it throughout this short video. No cost is too trivial, and make sure you do sweat the small stuff, because there's many times in life where you should not sweat the small stuff, many times, but cost base is not one of those. And this is what I mean about no cost is too trivial. Very rarely can I think of many things in business that are free, and therefore if they cost something, you should do yourself the honour rather than the disservice of checking whether you're getting value for money.
Is it true what they say? Nothing in life is free.
You can become so fixated with the process, the purchase orders, all those things are absolutely required. But a lot of the time you only choose to look for savings in business if you've missed your number, or if your performance is down, your year-on-years aren't where they're supposed to be. Whereas to me, I've never rationalised the thought process of not looking at cost saving as an ongoing activity. Any business that needs sales is always looking at new ways to bring in revenue. It seems totally counterintuitive to me to not look at new ways to bring costs down, because so many times when you get to the point where you want to make savings, and this is where I keep saying no cost is too trivial, the point where you need to make the savings, the cuts are deep, the cuts are painful, and actually the impact is quite stark.
Yeah, whatever. You want to know about pain? The first cut is the deepest, lads. KFC! The first cut is the deepest.
Whereas the businesses that culturally inhabit the idea that saving money is part of your job, if you're an event manager, if you're a chef, if you are a pot washer, if you're office admin, if you're a secretary, in every job there is an element of procurement, there is purchasing. It is your job to look for the best price for that product. So bring that back down to kind of day-to-day business, smaller companies. It's about finding the savings where you can, because the cost saving impact is absolutely monumental. And this happened in one of the companies, in one of the earlier football clubs I was working at. We started to, it was loss making in the departments I was running at the time, trying to embed the culture of checking costs, because so many people do not check the basics, like stationery cost. And actually ink cartridges for the printer is something that stayed with me right from the beginning of my career. And I think it might have been the trigger for me thinking that no cost saving was too trivial. And as we started to bring the cost down and we were moving into profit, I was viewing costs, because in a larger company you're kind of taking things as a percentage of your sale. That was generally the rough rule. Labour will be X percent of your total sales. Your overheads will be X percent of your total sales. And I couldn't rationalise why stationery held a disproportionate percentage of our sales. And when I say disproportionate, let's for the sake of this say that your labour bill was about 18-19%. I'm not including the salaried overhead staff that came below the line. And that your food sale might represent 30-40% of your sale. You're looking and you're thinking, well, why would stationery, because you've obviously got some office costs below the line, why would we be spending even a percent of our turnover on it? And what it became really clear was, once I'd asked the accountant to dig into it and come back to me, we discovered that we then started buying colour cartridges to print only black and white stuff. And I know it sounds like I'm getting into the trivial, but the trivial saves you money. And in finding that saved us £1,500 in 1 year. And you might say, in a big business turnover millions, what's 1,500 quid? But if you can save 1,500 quid on something as simple as ink cartridges, imagine the multiple of savings that you can apply that to across all the products. And in looking for that, it also then demonstrated that every single match day we were reprinting lots of paper that we weren't using. So not only were we now using expensive ink to print it, at the end of every match day there was certain briefing documents that never changed. Obviously match by match the intricacy changed, but the general document that was about 40 pages, 35 pages were not match specific. Every week that was going in the bin. Disaster for the environment, disaster for your costs. But in looking at the cost of stationery, you dove down and suddenly you realise, well, maybe you're doing up to 30 matches a year at home, including your friendlies, your cups, maybe more if you're on a good run. If you print an extra 35 pages 30 times using expensive ink, we kind of, we ballparked it, we saved in the end £5,000-6,000 on just looking at that. Because once you start looking, the answers start to become obvious. So for the sake of 60-minute work, if you took my hourly rate and his hourly rate, you've made a huge profit there. And profit can be found in many, many different ways. It's not just sales. It's not just a little bit of an extra charge to a customer. There's margin hidden in everything you do. Therefore, no cost is too trivial, and it's a subject I'm super passionate about. So hopefully that's a useful bit of insight, and maybe a bit of insight into how my mind works and where profit can be derived from, not just through additional sales. So stay safe as always, keep tuning in, keep subscribing, and thanks for being with me on the journey so far. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, guys. Bye.